Welcome to Season 4 of She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A chat here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some techniques and tips and tricks and things that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly live chats about a topic or 10, whatever comes up, really. But we try to keep the train on the tracks, and which leads me to the poll, which is the topic for today. So today's poll topic is, how do you streamline your audiobook production process? And I asked this question because I've received a lot of questions about how to, not make so many mistakes, how to sort of speed up the process, perhaps. And there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of ways to make your process faster and to not so much eliminate, but reduce the amount of mistakes that you make. And so I wanted to see what you guys thought, because your opinions matter too. So let's go over to the poll. It looks like, let me click on the poll here. We have 17 votes so far, and there really should have been an all of the above option, but as you know, I'm only limited to 4 questions for the poll, right? Or 4 responses for the poll. So looks like 50% of you said to read through and prep the manuscript, which I recommend doing anyway, because even if it's self-help, no matter what it is, read through it first, because there may be words in there that you need help with pronunciation, perhaps, especially if you're getting into fiction, right? There could be, if it's like a fantasy, there could be made up names, made up places, and you don't know how to pronounce them. You don't want to go by what you think, right? You want to get the author involved. So you want to make sure that you read through the book and take note of questions that you will have for the author. Also, and I bring this up a lot, but you also want to read through the book because you don't want to realize that the main character that you've been narrating for the last 10 chapters, now in chapter 11, has a Scottish accent. So you want to read through the book first, always, make notes, and it's also helpful if you have a fiction, right? Namely, or specifically, if you have a lot of different characters that have different voices or attributes to their voices, you can even highlight all of the different dialogue, right? Make a complete chart, or here we go with the frog again, sorry. A chart or a layout of some sort where you can make notes about each character and their attributes, where they come from, if they have an accent, and then assign them a different color. And then as you're prepping the manuscript, highlight their dialogue in that color. So as you're reading through, you can see who's coming up and which voice that you need to prepare for. There's a lot of different reasons or benefits to reading through the book first, prepping the manuscript first. 22% of you said, I've taken the time to learn my DAW. Learning and understanding what your DAW can do is definitely worth the time. Invest that time. Once you choose a DAW that And for those of you asking, a DAW is your digital audio workstation. That's your recording software. Once you choose one, take the time to fully understand what it does as it pertains to what your needs are, right? Understand how the effects work, what effects you actually need. And when I say effects, I mean your equalizer, your noise reducers, anything that can improve the sound of your audio quality. Not only that, but if there's ways that you can learn how to edit, right, record, stop, delete, copy, all of the basic necessary things, and even shortcuts. With a lot of these DAWs, you can assign shortcuts to, like hotkeys on your keyboard. Some of you I know use like a Stream Deck, which has buttons on it that you can assign macros to, so you can just hit a button and it does all of the functions for you. There's a lot of different ways to streamline your process in that respect. Learning which way you like to edit, right? Record and edit, meaning are you a clicker when you make a mistake, or do you punch and roll, right? So learning and being, somewhat good at all of these things is really going to help you to streamline your process as well. 19% of you said practice reading aloud and ahead. That is also going to be helpful for you because the written word and the spoken word are two different things. So as you're reading through and aloud, then you're getting the practice of breath control. It's more work than you think. There's more physicality to it than you think reading aloud. And then also the more that you read out loud, the more you can start to train your eye to move ahead of what is coming out of your mouth, reading ahead. That will help you to come up, that will help you to see if there's a question being posed, which of course is going to change the tone of what you're currently saying. If there's a different character, or there's a character shift coming up, if there's, it sort of will give your brain a heads up as to what's coming next. So you know how it's going to come out of your mouth, if that makes sense. So practice reading aloud and ahead is also a good thing to do. 4% of you said to pace yourself and take breaks, and I have to say I'm disappointed that only 4% of you said to pace yourself and take breaks. It is very important to give yourself the time you need, your body, all of it, and to give yourself the time to take the breaks, to rest while producing an audiobook. You don't have to rush through it. That's going to be reflected in the end result. You need to take breaks. I often say, however long you think a book is going to take you or an audiobook production is going to take you, give yourself an extra week. Give yourself an extra 2 weeks. And then deliver it early if everything goes out fine. But that allows you a cushion of time to, if you get sick or the kids get sick or your car breaks down or you just want to take a day off, give yourself a little bit of extra time. Be kind to yourself and to your instrument. Take the breaks. Pace yourself. Slow down. There really should be an all of the above. There really should be, but I'm only limited to 4. So let's get over to the comments and see what else you guys have to add to this, because I'm sure there's more than just those 4 things. Of course. All right, let's see who's first in today. Caesar. Oh, hi, Caesar. Oh, hi, Angela. Here's another poll where I'd like to say all of the above, of course. But since my DAW is muscle memory at this point, I mostly spend time on option 1 and option 3, practicing reading aloud and ahead. Good. I think that is very good practice. That is something to do even when you don't have an audiobook that you're currently producing. Get into the habit of reading things out loud. If you're reading a book for your own personal enjoyment, read it out loud. If you're at the supermarket and you're looking at pasta, read that out loud. I mean, silly, yes, people might think you're weird and you might get some looks, but who cares? You're a voice actor. You're practicing, right? You're honing your craft. You could just, meh. But get into the habit of just reading things out loud. It will definitely help, for sure. Yes, I get a lot of weird looks. That's okay. I don't care. Caesar then says, for sure, pace oneself and take breaks. I didn't do that for the last book and ran my throat raw. I had to do my pickups between fits of ragged coughing. All my fault, but it was a lesson learned. See? Exactly. Take the breaks. Give yourself extra time. Take the breaks. And he would like to add, apart from learning the DAW, is learning your recording environment. It helps to know which parts of your performance to EQ, what time of day cars roll by or planes fly over. Yes. Definitely take notes of any common occurrences on a particular day and time. And make note of it, like in your daily agenda. So when you're planning out, slices of your day where you can get into the studio and record or edit, you can see clearly, okay, well, today there will be, trash collectors usually come around this time, or, whatever it is, a school bus is outside making noise, or the kids, whatever it is, just make notes of that stuff. Or if you just, have to record late at night, then you can say, okay, starting at 6 o'clock, I have 2 hours. I have a 2-hour window where I can record. Make notes of that stuff. So you can effectively plan your day. And then you'll also realize how much time you actually have to dedicate every day to producing that audiobook, and when you can take breaks, and when you can record, and when you can edit, so on and so forth. Paul is here. Hey, Paul. Good day, Angela and all, or et al. From a gloomy Dunmow, UK. Our summer seems to have disappeared in the last few days. Well, you can have some of mine. We're still in the triple digits here in the desert. Once again, I'm getting in early as I won't be able to stay long. Well, if you're still here, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I didn't post a response to the poll as I'd have needed all of the above. And a few more besides. Yeah, I'm only limited to 4. But definitely, if you have other things that you'd like to add, please put them in the comments and share with everyone else here. Much of my audiobook output is nonfiction, with a significant proportion of theological material. Interesting. It sounds very interesting. Caesar said, for example, my studio has some sharp corners waiting for bass traps, so a notch at 240 hertz on the parametric equalizer really helps with clarity. You're so technical. Not all of us are that technical. But thank you for sharing, because some people might be. Paul then says, there is a fair amount of biblical, Latin, Hebrew, Aramaic vocab that I've had to get my tongue and brain around. So a thorough preliminary read and research is a must, of course. Yes, especially if you're getting into just foreign languages or languages that you don't hear that often. Even regional dialects, right? There might be regional pronunciations of things that you don't realize. And a good place, I just saw another resource, and I never write these things down. But if you're looking for pronunciation, if you're getting into like medical and stuff like that, a good place to go for pronunciation, never trust Google. Never trust Google pronunciations or just rando stuff you see on YouTube. Go to Merriam-Webster, merriam-webster.com. It's the online dictionary. There you'll find some great pronunciations. And also, if you're looking for regional dialects or regional pronunciations of things, where I go is either, if you can't get help from the author, always go to the author first. If you can't get help from the author, go to youglish.com, youglish.com, and then punch in the word in the search bar that you're looking for a regional pronunciation on, and it'll show you all the YouTube videos that have that word in it. And then you can use your discernment and go, okay, well, this is and let's just say it's Boston. There's a Bostonian speaker, and he's saying this word. That's how I should probably pronounce it, right? Paul says, getting familiar with your DAW is fundamental for audiobooks and all other forms of VO work. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you really should take that time, because you are going to be using your software all day, every day, for as long as you're doing this. So it's worth the investment of time, for sure. Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. I haven't felt this good since 1994. More confident in my career path and ability. And most importantly, I'm drowning in love and support. Thank you, everyone. As you should be, Caesar. As you should be. Paul says, I also find pacing and scheduling important. I'll break down a book into sections. I aim to complete 45 to 60 minutes each day. That's pretty close to what I do, too. And then take those breaks. Take those breaks. Every 2 to 3 hours max. Get up, walk around, do something else. Disconnect. Refresh, rest, drink tea, hydrate, whatever it is that you need to do, but take those breaks. Take those breaks. Caesar says, hi, Paul. Every time I see your profile thumbnail, I'm reminded of how much I want a Sontronics microphone. Hope you're doing well. Of course you know what microphone it is. Paul says, and I never commit to a schedule that doesn't allow me at least 1.5 days per finished hour to complete. I've never yet failed to exceed that target by some margin. Yet definitely give yourself some extra time in asking for, delivery time to deliver. Give yourself at least an extra few days, a week, and then deliver it early if you don't need it, and be a hero. Dwight says Belk. I want to know what Belk is. Paul says, hi, Caesar. Thanks. I'm well. I love my Sontronics mics. I've got an STC2 and a SCT20. They're effectively the same mic, but the STC20 doesn't have the -10 pad or the high-pass filter. I have a feeling you two could just chat for hours. Dwight says, hello, Angela and fellow lurkers from 18i, traveling through PA and VA. All of the above, please forgive the Belk. Not sure where that came from. Well, if you're traveling, I totally understand that, because, fingers on a phone and then, traveling around is probably not a good combination. Dylan said, hello all. I chose manuscript prep because the others are kind of second nature now. Dwight, keep your eyes on the road. Yes. Dwight. Especially if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. You shouldn't be commenting. Keep your eyes on the road. Caesar says, Dwight, are you having fun? Please tell us you're having fun. Also, post photos. Caesar said, Belk is a fat finger hello. That makes sense. According to my keyboard is laid out. Hi, Dylan. Are you putting the granular on your peanuts? Because I ordered a bottle online after your suggestion. I think you guys are talking about tahine. We were talking about tahine the other day. Greenwood Audio Creation says, hello all. I've managed to get over COVID. Yay me. Now I'm in the process of fine-tuning on my booth and getting everything nailed down to get better recording. Good. And for those of you watching, if you're stuck in a place where you're like fine-tuning your studio, or you're, fine-tuning your recording space, or you're taking the time to learn your DAW, take as much time as you need. Your progress is going to, whatever time it takes, just take it. There's no rush. There's no hurry. Everyone's got a different path. Some people get to the place that they want to be at faster than others, and that's okay. Some people take more time to get there, and that's okay. It's going to take the time that it's going to take. So no pressure, no rush. Just do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Dylan says, hi, Caesar. Yes, I'm enjoying tahini on my peanuts. I'm glad you're feeling loved and supported. You deserve it. Absolutely. Pamela. Hey, Pam. How you doing? Hi, all. Just checking in to say good morning. We'll be back after walking the dog. Late start this a.m. D. Hort says, good morning, Angela. Good morning to you, sir. Good to see you. Mark Samuels. Hi. Good to see you all here today. Dylan says, gah. The music jump scares me every dang week. Sorry. I tried to find a point in the song that wasn't like, right in your face at the very beginning, so it wouldn't do that. I failed. Masonry Construction says, since I don't do audiobooks, but short audio only, I do edit the script to show pauses, words to be emphasized or softened. I make my audio scripts very visual, and that is one way to prep your manuscript or any other VO script also, is by highlighting, like drawing notes for yourself, elongating a word, maybe slowing it down, breaking it down, drawing it out, soft A, hard A, emphasis on this word for, emphasis. Words that need to stand out or need to be colored for whatever the purpose of that script is. Definitely do that too. Thank you for bringing that up. Florida D says, hi, y'all. Hey, Florida D. Mark Samuel says, hello, Angela. Thanks again for a fantastic Tuesday. Well, I'm glad that you're all here. It works. Oh, are you talking about my live stream? You guys can actually hear me? Technical difficulties, but not today, right? Right? That's right. Ben I says, good morning. Almost all of the above. I don't read through them entirely. My best process is cold reading, so I have the best feels new emotion, but you don't want it to sound like you've never read it before. So it might take a few takes if you're a cold reader, but I get it. But the others apply. Holistic approach is my take. And everybody's got a different approach to things. What I recommend is what I recommend. There may be other people that recommend to do it a completely different way. This is why I always say, take what everybody says into account, right? Listen to what everybody has to say about a certain topic or process or whatever it is, because although you may not totally agree with what they say, and of course the whole thing is just so confusing because some people are saying, conflicting things, but if you just take it all in, then you kind of have both sides of the coin, and then you can make the decision on what is best for you and your business and the way that you want to move forward. So listen to what everybody has to say. And you also might hear little golden nuggets, throughout what they're saying. So definitely listen to what everybody's got to say. Oh, we just got a super chat. Hold on, getting there. Here we go. Sean Lester. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Sean says, I thought I could record all day. I would definitely not shoot for that. That's way too hard on yourself. That didn't work. If I don't take at least a small break every 20 minutes, my voice gets raspy. Normal or weak? No, that's very normal. Much of the frog that you guys hear me doing is, I haven't started narrating yet today. However, it's usually what's left from the day before when I do a lot of narrating. I'm actually making a course on imposter syndrome. So, and I'll let you guys know when it's done. It's almost done, but I narrated all of it yesterday. I still have a couple of things to film, but I narrated a lot of it yesterday. And that's usually what happens. The next day, it's like the rasp, all the goo, all the is making its way out. Gross, I know. TMI, I know. But reality. I didn't take as many breaks as I probably should have. I need to have some tea or something. But hydrate. I'm getting off on a tangent. Here I go. It's not weak, Sean. It's very normal. Take the breaks, hydrate, drink tea. Throat coat tea is a great tea. You can buy it on Amazon. I think there's also There's a eucalyptus flavor now. I'm not a big fan of eucalyptus, but I'm also not a big fan of the black licorice, like regular flavor either. But it does help soothe the throat. Also, steam inhalers, anything that can help, clear things up, it'll definitely help, which I'm going to go do after this live stream because I've got more recording to do. But definitely not weak. It's very normal. And this is why it's important to take breaks. Take the breaks. And I say every 2 to 3 hours max, or you can take a break every 20 minutes. It depends on what you're doing, right? You might have something very taxing that you're narrating. So take the breaks. Take a break every 10 minutes if you have to. Protect this. Take care of this. And take the breaks listen to your body is basically what I'm saying. Listen to your body and take the breaks when you need them. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Thank you for bringing that up, Sean. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And then Sean says, my streamlining is a work in progress. And it usually is for a while until you find what works and what doesn't. It might, just like anything else, a little trial and error just to see what works best for you. I like voicing short form scripts early in the morning for a couple of hours and then audiobooks a couple hours at night. And that's cool. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do when you gotta do it. There's no wrong or right way to do it. It's whatever feels right. JCC AOL, haven't seen you in a while. I'm still here, just have a lot happening. Getting ready to voice over my first novel. Good for you. I also, though, want to say I am saddened by the loss of James Earl Jones. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yesterday was a dark day. James Earl Jones. That man will definitely be missed. Yeah. Icon. Icon for sure. Caesar says, good technique, Ben. There were passages in the last book I read that felt like the impact was stronger in the fresh read, and I had to work hard to bring the same emotion post-practice. And that's kind of another reason why I do the clicker method versus punch and roll. I don't really do punch and roll because I'm just not coordinated enough for punch and roll. I don't like having to stop and then go back. It takes me out of the moment. But what I'm getting at anyway is the clicker method. I click my dog clicker when I make a mistake, and then I just keep going. And then when I go back and edit, to Caesar's point, I have everything recorded on one file. So if I go back and listen to the cold read and it sounds better than the post read or the warm read, then I can select whatever works best for me. I have all of my takes there. Ben says, good morning. Almost all of the above. Oh, that's a dupe. Is that a dupe? That's a dupe. Sean says, the other hours I use for marketing, learning, and auditioning and record keeping. Yes, I know. Record keeping's never fun, but also a necessary evil. Part of the business. Caesar says, I too was saddened by the loss of James Earl Jones. He did live to 93. A very full and very accomplished life. Easy for you to say, accomplished. Yes. 93. Dang. Janelle is here. Hello, Janelle. Hi, Angela and everyone. I read through the book, take notes, or read through the book, then ask for clarification from the rights holder or author, especially for certain pronunciations, just to be safe. And that is a great strategy. That's a great strategy. That is what you should be doing. Always go to the author for clarification, especially when it comes to pronunciation. And if there are questions regarding, just quick side note, if there's questions regarding like if they want the about the author included, any other segments of the book that aren't typically included in an audiobook production, that would be the time to also ask them those questions as well. But you probably want to ask those questions before you even quote the book, just to make sure that that word count is included in your pricing. feel like I'm all over the place today. Oh, we have another super chat. Hang on. Caesar. Thank you, Caesar. You didn't have to do that. That's normal, Sean. Like my wife often says, my throat can only take so much. She's on Zoom meetings all day. Throat coat and soothing mints are your secret weapon. But still, take breaks. Absolutely. 1,000% agree that taking breaks is one of the most important things I think you should be doing. Thank you so much for the super chat, Caesar. Where was I? Ben says to Caesar, I fixed a word. I guess the delete didn't work. Oh, no. Florida D says, I submitted my first audition and got my first rejection this week. All right, hold on. I forgot to silence the phone. Hold on. My first audition got my first rejection. I knew I would, but I wanted to get the practice. I was just happy I've learned enough to meet ACX submission standards. And that is a great way to look at it, Florida D. Don't take it personally when you get a rejection. It probably has nothing to do with you, or you shouldn't view them in a negative way. You just weren't the right voice. 9 times out of 10, you weren't the right voice for that project. The client has a voice in their head that they're looking for, and you just weren't it. And that's okay, right? But you got practice. You practice. You got to go through the whole process. And now you've probably learned a few things during that process. So that is the best way to look at it. It was still practice. It's still progress. Moving forward. Christine is here. Hello, Christine. Rustic Hillbilly is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. John Freetag is here. I read out loud. Good. Donnie says, I was going through auditions and came across a high-end book with the potential to do an entire series. There is so much detail. I asked the author for Zoom meeting due to the number of characters and details. And that's not a bad thing to do either. If you need to, just have a quick 10-minute meeting via Zoom with your rights holder as well. And then record it, especially if you're asking them to pronounce certain things or walk you through the pronunciation of certain things. Record that meeting so you can reference it later. Greenwood Audio Creation says, for those of you that do audiobooks, what's your conversion rate? How many auditions average do you... That's a loaded question because there are so many different options. It's not like a product where the product is the same every time. Every voice and narration style is unique. Everyone has something specific and special to offer. So everyone's conversion rate is going to be a little bit different, but with just, general sales, 10% is usually what you're shooting for is typical return on investment, 10%. But that's not going to be for everybody. Some people just have that voice that suits a lot more things, and some people have a voice that may be a little bit more specific for things. It's really hard to tell. I know some people that have submitted 10 auditions and gotten 8 offers. I also know people that have submitted 50 auditions and got 1. It just depends on, who's looking for your voice. But obviously, the more auditions that you submit, the better your chances of finding that person who's looking for your voice, or that client that's looking for your voice. Although I would caution you, if you are submitting tons of auditions and just getting nothing but rejection after rejection after rejection, I'm like, if you're up in the 50s, 60s, you might want to consider having someone take a listen to your demo, to your recording space, to your recordings. There could be something off about your recordings themselves. Maybe it's your recording space. Maybe there's echo that you just don't realize is there. You're just accustomed to hearing it and you don't realize it's there. Maybe you're using your effects rack is too heavy. Maybe there's too much compression. Maybe you're too sibilant. Maybe there's just something there that's off-putting that you don't recognize because you're just used to hearing it. So having a group that you can belong to that can give you feedback, multiple perspectives. Multiple perspectives are always better. To give you feedback on your demo could make you aware of something that's there that could be off-putting. And then that way you can address it and fix it. And then perhaps win more auditions going forward. So I would definitely say if you're putting in a lot of auditions and not seeing a whole lot of job offers, then get somebody to listen to your demos for feedback, or a group of people for feedback. Caesar says, my wife says I always court odd looks when speaking out loud in public. See? Too much, not enough breaks. Sometimes not just odd looks, but thirsty looks. She finds it amusing. I find it mortifying. You have one of those voices, Caesar. God, excuse me. You have one of those voices. And I always compare your voice to like Tim Curry. Tim Curry has one of those voices too. It's very, dare I say, like sensual. It's just one of those very specific kind of voices. Definitely, I can see that happening. You getting a lot of attention with your voice. For sure. Oy. I will read the entire book, making notes, etc. Then I will read a paragraph or two to warm up and get my groove before I ever hit record. Yeah. And you could even, for those of you that have like imposter syndrome or comparisonitis, if you have any kind of hesitancy in recording at all, I say hit the record button before you start the warm-up process. That way you forget it's recording. That might be the thing, it was for me anyway, that might be the one thing that's sort of making you tense up. Okay, we're live, we're recording. Are they going to hate it? Are they going to hate me? Am I going to like this? All of that sort of just goes out the window. And then do all your warm-up stuff. And then start over and go into the read. Because you normally warm up about a minute or two in. So read a paragraph or two, whatever, 1 or 2 minutes is, and then start over. But if you hit record before all of that, then, it's not as mortifying, to use Caesar's word. Donnie says, I will read the entire book. Oh, we just said that. John Freetag says, I use the Old Testament for voice training. There you go. Whatever book you have on hand, too, will work, for sure. Dylan said at Greenwood, I'm at 51 audiobooks or auditions to 14 offers, but I only audition for books that I feel like my voice fits. I'm picky. You're not picky. That is what you should be doing. You shouldn't be just shotgunning, auditions everywhere. Choose something that you're going to enjoy. The production will be much better off for it. Because that enjoyment is going to come through. If you choose a topic that you're not really happy about, but you just want that first audiobook done and out of the way, don't do that. Because it's not going to benefit you and it's not going to benefit your client. Just choose something that you think you're going to enjoy, because that will come through the read. Be like Dylan. That's not picky. That's what you should be doing. So I'm glad that you're doing it that way. Florida D says to Donnie, when you do your first read through, is it out loud or do you read silently the first time? You should always read out loud. Out loud. Eric says, hey, Eric, never stop learning. I continue to get coaching and useful tools like this and the Platinum Group. I've learned shortcuts and techniques that help streamline the process. Yes, and that is another benefit of being part of a group or like a mastermind or like my workshop, for example, is just the little things that you pick up from listening and working with and being friends with, part of a community with other voice actors and audiobook narrators, because they might just drop some knowledge on you and you go, oh my God, that's totally going to speed up my process. So join groups, join communities. Greenwood says to Dylan, picky is good. No sense in wasting your time with things you don't think are great for you anyway. Absolutely. Absolutely. Makes sense to me anyway. Absolutely. Exactly. Dwight says, punch and roll. Punch and roll helped me exponentially in the efficiency world. Yes, we're at a truck stop. Good. You're in one ear and my wife is in the other. Please no mom looks at me today. I can't see them. Donnie says to Florida, I read silently for the complete read. That is my time to take notes, etc. Oh, the complete read through. Yes, the read through. Well, either or. Either or. I would say some of the harder words to get your mouth around, I would read those out loud for sure while you're taking notes. Donnie says, I need that coffee cup. Oh, my Lost Boys coffee cup. Yes, coffee. I pick up a new coffee mug at the Halloween, the spirit store every year when they open up. This was the one I picked up. No, I got Edward Scissorhands last year. This was the one I picked up the year before, I believe. So I get a new one every year. Eric says, I also had to accept that I was being way too picky in my editing, deleting ghost noises that even I couldn't hear in the headphones. Yeah, and over-editing is definitely something that could be slowing down your process too. You have to learn to let things go. I think we become way too picky about every little mouth click, every little breath, every little whatever, because we are aware of them. Before we became audiobook narrators and voice actors, we were just blissfully unaware of these things. But now we're aware, and it's hard to be unaware. It's hard to undo that. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And then we're hyper-focused on removing them from our audio when sometimes, most of the time, we really don't need to. Breaths, don't worry about deleting them. You might as well be AI if you're not breathing, especially within dialogue. If there's dialogue in the book, leave the breaths in because they're humans talking to each other. They're going to breathe. The narrator is also a human that needs to breathe. So don't spend all of your time removing all of the breaths. Take out ones that are off-putting, like if you're taking a big breath between like long, run-on sentences or something like that. Then yeah, take that out. Or the pause, if you had to take a pause and take a big breath, take that out. But normal breaths in between sentences or within sentences is completely normal. Leave those in. And don't, spend 2 hours just hyper-fixating on every little mouth click too. Stop it. Stop it. You're removing the things that make us human. Stop it. Dwight says, only commenting at the stops, having a blast. Went to Wilbur's Chocolates yesterday and Roots Amish Market and auction this morning. Now we have a 350-mile road trip to next stop. Sounds like fun, though. I'd love to get out of this room, my cave of wonders. I would love to get out of here and get out and see the world a little bit. I would love to do that. Caesar says to Ben, I realize because you deleted and revised your comment, my response is now ahead of your statement. Way to make me look like a mind reader. Or are you? Donnie says to Eric, I have caught myself doing that as well. Speech hunter. I heard an interview from Scott Brick who said he rests after reading each chapter. Yeah. I usually give, depending on the size of the chapter, I might even give myself a pause halfway through a chapter. If it's a chapter that's like 40 pages long, I might take a break midway through. Whatever works for you, listen to your body. But taking breaks, even small ones, is definitely beneficial. Hydrate, drink tea, probably not coffee like me, but drink tea, something soothing. Definitely hydrate, get up, walk around, get the blood circulating. Greenwood Audio Creation says, talking for hours on end is a developed skill. My career has given me lots of customer service. 40 to 50 hours a week on the phone. Sort of thing for years now until recently. It takes a toll. Breaks. Lots of breaks, for sure. Donnie says, I will sleep with a humidifier on during reads. Or during reads, I think. Humidifier or during reads. Because if you're asleep, how are you doing reads if you're asleep? I think there was an or. Right? I didn't highlight your comments. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Sleep with a humidifier or during reads. That makes sense. Greenwood Audio Creation says, Speech Hunter, right. There you go. Ben says, thanks for covering the point that folks should take all into consideration and find a process that works for them. It's essentially what I did. Because there is so much conflicting information out there. You know, you'll have maybe a number of people that you follow for information and advice and support, you know, maybe like me, and then you have 10 other people, you know, and out of them, 2 people say complete opposite of maybe what I'm telling you, and that's fine. You know, everyone's got a different process. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has a different plan for how they want to do things and what works for them. So take it all in and then make your own decision on what you want to do, what makes most sense for you. There are only just a few one-size-fits-all things in this world. You do you is best. Absolutely. 110% agree with you, Ben. Masonry Construction says, I respond much better to my dog clicker than my giant dogs do. It helps me, them, not so much. That is one thing to consider if you want to do the clicker method, is that if you have an animal in and around your house that has been trained with the dog clicker, you might have some problems. So in that case, if you don't want to do punch and roll, you can always snap your fingers, cluck your tongue, tap or clap, anything that makes like a sharp spike in your waveform that's visible when you go back and edit. You know, do what you got to do. The only animal in my house is a cat who doesn't care unless it's time to eat, so I don't have to worry about that. Lamar! Hi, Lamar. Ooh, what's my voice? Robert Starling says, at Florida D, I am a cinematographer with 46 years of experience. When folks ask what my secret is, my response is, I've shot more bad pictures than most people, and you just see my best. It's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. Joel says, hi, sorry for the delay. Long line at the donut shop. Well, where are the donuts? Where are the donuts? Where are they? Hope you brought enough for everybody. Leslie's here. Okay, I will try that. Start recording before the warm-up. That is a great tip. Yeah, it's that, especially if you have that imposter syndrome. If you have a hard time hitting that record button and then you just kind of freeze up and then, you know, the narrator voice comes out. Instead of you just being you, just hit record first and then do all of the practice, do all of the warm-up, do all of that stuff, get it out of the way, and then it won't be as, you know, intimidating anymore. It's not a thing anymore. It's been recording. And then go into your script. And then when you go back and edit, just cut out all of the warm-up stuff if you want to. Who cares? Dylan says, you said to only record books where you really enjoyed the subject matter. My first book was about male anatomy. I'm not sure what that says about me. Well, you know, not every time. Not every time. Joel says, I've been submitting lots of auditions. So far, the only one I was offered was someone who was farming for AI voices. Found him on LinkedIn. Oh, boy, of course. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that stuff. Eric says, we have no room for more coffee cups. Yeah, I had to go through a coffee cup purge about 2 years ago. My partner said, okay, you got way too many coffee cups. So we went through and got rid of some old ones. And then he started to travel a lot. And then what does he do? He brings me home a coffee cup from wherever he is. So it's just rebuilding again. And then I do this Halloween coffee cup thing every year. So, maybe I just need more cabinets. Joel says, found out after I accepted, so ACX deleted his book. As they should. Greenwood Audio Creation says to Joel, I'm sorry to hear that. Those AI farmers are starting to get really annoying. They've always been very annoying. They always have been. Caesar says to Eric, I used to do that too. If it's visible, I scrub them out. We eventually train ourselves out of this. Use the spectral view to see what to clean out, but use your ears to find them. That is a great point. If your DAW has a spectral view, the spectral view, you can see the breaths. You can see the mouth noise. So as you're going back through and editing, you're listening, but you're also looking. So what you have to start to train yourself to do is that even though you can see something there, let's just say it's a mouth click, you can see it there. Instead of zeroing in and airbrushing it out and getting all paranoid about it being there, listen to it first. Is it even noticeable? You might even hear it, but someone else might not. I can't tell you how many times that I've had somebody say, I have this awful noise. I want you to take a listen to this audio clip and tell me what you hear. I'm like, I don't hear anything. And they're like, oh my God, I've been obsessing over this, breath or whatever it was. I'm like, who cares? Stop wasting your time on little things that just don't matter. They don't matter. No one else is going to listen to it. You can see it and hear it because you're aware that it's there. Everyone else listening to it probably won't hear it. Definitely can't see it. Joel says to Greenwood, yeah, but I figured it could happen. The positive side is I've got lots of samples so far. There you go. Joy. Hey, Joy. Hello, everyone from sunny Southfield. How many minutes should go into a sample for ACX? Joy, we've had this discussion. How many times have we talked about this? Your sample and auditions should be no longer than 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes max for audiobooks. 2 to 3 minutes max. So if an author gives you like a chapter or the entire book for you to use as a sample, that doesn't mean that you have to read everything that they give you. 2 to 3 minutes max. They will know in the first few seconds if you're the right voice, if your audio quality is up to snuff, and then decide at that point if they're going to keep listening, and then in turn offer you the job. They'll know in the first few seconds. So you don't need to record an entire chapter. Now, if they gave you specific sections to hear, then narrate slices of both of those. They gave you those specific sections probably because there was a particular emotion that they wanted to see how you would handle, or different character voices, or maybe situations where you might not be comfortable with the content. So definitely, give those more attention and then try snippets from each of those sections they give you, just to make sure that you are, in fact, comfortable with that content and that you can deliver that emotion effectively, in your read, in that audition. But, most of the time when I see an entire chapter submitted for an audition, don't read the entire chapter. That just means that they didn't know how to slice out a section of it effectively. They gave you a chapter. Pick something. Pick a section and read it. 2 to 3 minutes max. Joel says to Greenwood, yeah, it's okay. I figured it could happen. Okay, so you edited it. EBB. Florida D says, one of the most helpful things I've found since I started this journey, Eric live streamed on Discord while he was narrating. I learn a S-ton watching him live. And that is another benefit to having a group that has a Discord server, like mine, like my Platinum group, is that there are members that jump in there and live stream in Discord, and you can sit and watch. You can watch their process and how they handle certain things and edit and all of the things. And you learn so much just by watching someone else do it. I'll hop in there from time to time and edit podcasts. So it's all mainly editing and processing, stuff like that. But definitely Discord is a huge perk. Donnie says, discharging a firearm inside your studio is not an acceptable replacement for the clicker. Yeah, I would not recommend that. D. Hort says, hey, Angela, what do you use to organize your contacts for networking and marketing purposes? Excel, Google Sheets? I have, my website, Wix. I have a CRM and ways to, organize contacts and things in there. But you could also use Google Sheets, spreadsheets. You might even find... Do I have one? If you go to Etsy, you could probably find templates for keeping track of names, places, people, contact information, or just build your own. Just build your own in Excel or Google Sheets. Masonry Construction says, did not mean to suggest that my giant dogs respond to the clicker. They are Great Pyrenees. Oh yeah, they just rather lay on the couch and be huge. Trained for centuries to figure out how to protect the herd and consider my wishes as mere suggestions. My parents have a half Pyrenees, and that's pretty much what he does all day. Donnie says, like and subscribe or no donuts. I just want a donut. Eric says, Angela, was Joy talking about auditions or samples? Both. Either. Or both. 2 to 3 minutes max. Caesar says to Donnie, great way to improve ventilation, though. God. No firearms in this studio. No firearms in the studio. No discharging firearms in the studio. That's a no-no. Okay. Well, that's about it for today, I think. Thank you guys for joining me again for another live chat here on my channel. I really appreciate the time that you guys take to, come together and not only interact with me, but also to give your perspectives, your opinions, your tips, things that have worked for you, and then all the support for each other and for me as well. I really appreciate it. It does mean the world, and I think that's something we need more of, this community and support for each other, especially these days. But I will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So I'll see you all then. Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.